Okay, this is how Tracardi works. Tracardi works in two modes. One mode is Sandbox and the other is production. What it means, Tracardi when installed has two APIs. The API is equivalent of a collector. So one API can be public, and that API has only the endpoints for collecting data. This is for security reasons. And this Sandbox API is for managing the Tracardi. So, and Tracardi also has like one graphical user interface, and you can connect to different APIs. So for example, I have this one API, but I could have different APIs, different instances. For example, one can be for collecting the customer data, but the other can be like for collecting an employee data or something else. So you can just switch between the instances, have like multiple instances. Okay, so when we start usually in the sandbox, and we create an inbound traffic. So this is the way how we will collect data. Those are the bridges. You can see them on the presentation. So there can be different bridges, and we can even add more bridges that that can collect data. And we will use the REST API. And let's assume that this is for my website. Okay, and I can write that this channel is a web. The other one can be like mobile, etc. This source is enabled, and we can just save it. So right now we have in the deployment mode, in a draft, we have a website, and we can test it in that mode, in the sandbox. It's not visible on production, so when I go to production, you can see there is no event source. There are also like event sources that we call event redirects. These sources are like URLs, so you can create a URL. Maybe I can try to create one. Redirect bridge. Okay, let's name it inbound click link. Okay, save it. And now I can go to event redirects and say that I would like to use this source whenever, and this will create a link. Okay, and whenever that link is clicked, I will see an event in my system. Why is it useful? So you can create links. For example, for the campaigns, you can send those links, and so whenever somebody clicks it, you get an event in Tracardi. So you can say like email message opened, for example. Okay, and whenever somebody clicks for that link, I would like it to be redirected to okay, I can set some properties. So now Tracardi save. So now I have this link, and I put the Tracardi API in front of it, and I can send it to anyone. When they click, they will be redirected to my page, but I will have an event in Tracardi. So this is like a different way of collecting data. So, but we will use just a regular website event. This is the event, and this is the JavaScript you have to put on your web page. This JavaScript just sends API calls. You can use the same event source for collecting data from the website, and also you can use it just directly calling the API, and this is how we will be doing it. So you put this in the header of your page, and then on each subsequent page you put this part and saying what kind of event type and data of that event you would like to send to Tracardi. So for example, on the web page, when somebody finishes the order or finishes some buying some stuff, then you can put like order completed, and with all the data what that order was. The same with on each page, you can put like a page view and then some data, for example the category of that page, and that event will end up in Tracardi. So now we have our event source, and we can go. I go to test, and this is just a regular API client. It just sends this request, and we can fill it with the data from Tracardi. So you can see this is a website, so it gives me the source ID, what kind of event I would like to send. So let's say page view, so you can see how it fills this request, and the same request you can send to the truck API via post, and will just behave the same way. And here you can post the profile ID and the session ID. If you don't put anything in that, Tracardi will create new profile for that request. So let's save this as a page view for later, and maybe I can put some properties like category, or maybe I can some predefined. Okay, category, I don't know, homepage. Okay, so this is what you will do. You will just on the web page, you will just add this JavaScript snippet with this data and with this name page view, and it sends the data through this request, and we'll see the response. So okay, so Tracardi responded. You can see the task that it created. You can see what kind of page view profile was created, and what's its session, if there are some errors or not. So okay, we've sent one event to Tracardi through API. The same way it's sent when we are on the page. We can go to data, and here we go. This is the events, and actually there are more events than one. This is my page view, but Tracardi automatically creates some events, like when the profile is created, when it opens the session, and when the visit starts. Why it does it? Because when you have certain events, of course you can turn it off if you don't need it, but if you have like certain events like visit started, visit ended, you can connect some automation to it. So when somebody visits you for the first time, you can do something. Okay, so this is the data, this is the property. Okay, this is the property of the visit created, and you can see that what triggered that visit, and here we don't have any data. And of course there is an anonymous profile created for that visit. You can see its ID, and you can see all its data. So it's all empty because we did not send any data. Okay, but it actually gets some data out of the box. So for example, if we connect like a recognition from where that person comes, you can see its location, but it also, like right now, discovered what are actually my geo markets. It says that okay, I probably speak English, so that's why it created this. Okay, and this is it, and this is the history of that visit. Only one page view. You can click here and you can see what I've sent, the data. You can see from what application, device. It's just like more data to that. You can add context. If we put it on the website, there would be like more information about the resolution of the screen, etc., etc. More data on the browser. Here is the request, and some configuration that it was sent asynchronously. The other thing is that with each event we can send the UTM. This indicates if the customer that came to our web page was somehow related to some campaign that we did. So for example, we did some marketing campaign, we've put that UTM into your URL, and Tracardi can intercept this, and throughout the whole visit you will have information that that customer came from that campaign. Okay, and there is a session. So the session is pretty much the same. It just says the session is basically a visit. Just says what device was used, has the history of that, etc. And also it can have like property, streets, etc., etc. There's some analytics for the customer, very rudimentary, not much analytics in here, because basically Tracardi is not for analytics. It's just for getting data, some logs, and this is the whole profile that was created, and you can see most of the data is not filled. Okay, now let's try to do something else. Let's assume that my profile, and I copy this profile ID, just visits another page because it visited on the home page, and we can just go and simulate that it visited another page. So it's also on my web page, but this time the browser keeps the profile ID, and we can like say that product reviewed, product added to basket. Okay, that's better. So this time it will visit a page where the product was added to the basket. This JavaScript will send this information to Tracardi, and this is like predefined data that we can fill. We can add any data, but this is a predefined that usually is used. So this time I will say, okay, maybe not everything. SKU name would be laptop, some ID 1, 2, 3, some price. Okay, maybe we can skip this. So it just added a laptop with some SKU with the price of 100, and of course we can also add the context, so it was from what page, etc. It was added. This is automatically added by the JavaScript. We don't use JavaScript, so we don't fill it. Okay, so here it is, another event, and it should be connected with that profile. We can see, and here it is, another event for that profile. So with that, we can collect data, and this is like very related to one page. So on each page, whenever a customer visits us, we collect data, even though the customer is anonymous. Okay, let's now do something like this. I will simulate that the customer fills a form and leaves us some email. Okay, because I would like to show you how it merges the profiles. So let's go again, and this time we'll say update profile. Of course, the profile ID is kept by the browser. Okay, and we can update a lot of information about this customer. Let's only update the first name and last name, and also some contact data. So, for example, they signed up for a newsletter, or just left us some data about the contact. So this way is I will sell it like demo.com. Okay, it was added here. So we can see that it's okay. Okay. So now let's go to our data. And this time, I didn't fill first name and last name. This time we have first name and last name, and in contacts, oh, I didn't fill it. Okay, I've resent the profile update. You can see that the data was here, but actually it was in the wrong place. So now I've put it into the right place, and now I should be able to see the contact. Okay, so now I have the name, first name, last name, and some email. Okay, and here of course we have all the profiles. This is just one profile, and you can see the same information here, and also the session, so we can see how many visits there were, because I was not delivering the data about the visit. Okay, so now we can set up the system so it can join the profiles by the email. Actually, the system is predefined, so it does it automatically. So whenever I copy some data from an event to profile as an email, the system should join it. So let's do something again. This time I will create a new profile. I will not deliver the profile ID. Everything is here. Okay, so there is like a page view and nothing in the profile ID. So the profiles are taken care of by the JavaScript, so you don't have to manage it yourself. Here is my page view, and this is new anonymous profile. Okay, so basically it says that, okay, this is the profile. I was visiting my site from homepage, and now I'm visiting my the same site or the other site using my home work laptop, other browser actually, from somewhere else, okay, or mobile. So I have two different profiles, but they actually belong to the same person. But this one identified itself with an email, but this one did not. Okay, so now let's identify that that person. So I will do like profile update. I'm sending profile update. Oh, I forgot the ID. Okay. So this time for that person, I'm sending the update. Okay. Somebody just updated their data with their email. And of course, joining can also happen on the phone, etc. So this is configurable. demo@demo.com. Okay, so now I'm updating the profile. Somebody just signed up on my web page. I have this profile update event, and it sends it to Tracardi. So this time we should have, at least for a while, two profiles. All of the profiles has the same email. Okay, and there's a background job that works, and it joins all the profiles. Okay? Depending on how you've set it up. This instance is set up to join on emails, so you have to wait for a few seconds to see this. I will just check how frequently this worker works, and just go back. Okay. It just kicked off because it works every 1 minute. So you can see now we have one profile, and it has two visits. You can see the visit. This is the first visit. This is the second visit. Okay. And actually there were more visits. Yeah, there were more visits. Okay, and it joined the data, so you can see that there is like a demo, and the first name and the last name is filled, and this is the whole history of the profile. This is very simplified version of merging the profile. It can be done on different IDs, so you can send like a primary ID that is not filled. You can see like the primary ID, and it would just join the profile on that data. And also you can define, there is like, we'll go through those settings. You can define how this whole process goes, because system is predefined and it just covers like 80% of the use cases. But sometimes there are like custom use cases, and you can predefine, for example, how the data from the event should be copied to the profile, because we've used like update profile, and it automatically updated the profile. But for example, if I would like to have like a my custom event, and that custom event should put data somewhere in the custom traits of the profile, then we can do it in here. So I can show you how to do it. So for example, I don't know, let's say that I will have an event called checkout. There is a checkout event, or maybe my custom event. Okay, my custom event, I can type it here. This is my custom event, and then I can say that whenever there is an property in the event, so I'll set like XXX, I would like to copy it to the profile, to traits XXX. Okay, let me save it. So right now I have my custom event. Okay, let's do a test. Oh, I don't have it, so we'll create a new profile. So this time, instead of page view, I'm sending my custom event in a XXX. I'm sending data 1 to 3. Okay. Okay. Here it goes. There was a response. The data in the database is saved from within 3 to 5 seconds. So sometimes you have to refresh several times. So right now the profile was created. This is my property that I've sent, my data, and I wanted it to end up in traits. So here we go. Here's in traits. In traits you can put whatever data you want. So this is like a custom traits, and that the data also can be used for merging profiles. So we can go down to identify. Oh, maybe we can come back to mapping, and I'll just quickly explain what the tabs are doing. Event validation, you can just validate the event if it has the data that you are expecting. Okay. Event reshaping is Tracardi can take any data, even the corrupt one. So if there's like a corrupted wrong data, it will be saved. But in here you can reshape it and put it the way you want it. So, and let me give you the use case. For example, in my case, I'm very interested when somebody visits my GitHub, okay? Because I would like to know who's visiting my GitHub, who's interested in my product. GitHub can send webhooks, and they send a lot of data. I don't have access to that data. I cannot make the data look different than they send it, okay? So on my side, I can just grab this, reshape this event to have, like, for example, only an email, not everything that they send, and just save it as an event. So in here, I'll just reshape the event how I would like it to look. Okay. There's event mapping. Event mapping is some data, even the corrupt one, is saved in a place that is not indexed, so I cannot search it. When I would like to search some data on a database in the in the event table, then I would like to index it. So this is like copying the data from the properties to the event traits, and then I can look up this data. And we've seen this event to profile mapping, where you map how the data from the event ends up in the profile. So gradually with each event you will update the profile. Now the identification. In the identification you can set consent type. So for example, you can collect some consents from the customers saying, okay, I would like some marketing. So for example, I would like to have a consent that I can use that data for the marketing. Here I can describe what I will do with the data, okay? And this is just a setting. So default consent will be just granted. It's enabled, so we can see this. Is this consent required for site to work? So you can just mark it yes. So if you use our site, then you have to agree to this. If this consent is revocable, etc. So basically you just describe what kind of consent you would like to collect, and there are events that say, okay, somebody granted me this consent. Okay, it's like a definition. It needs some description, and you can add like many of those consents, and those consents can be used. I will show you how we can do it. This is in the data compliance. Identification points. Identification point is system is defined to identify user by email right now, primarily by email, but also can by phone, etc., etc. If you would like to have like other data that identifies your profile, you can define it here. So for example, I have like my custom primary key, okay, and I'll be using this on my website, and I will be updating it with the identification event type. And I'm expecting that with that event I will be sending in properties, because properties in a PK, I will be sending this information about the primary key that identifies this profile. And here I define where I will store it in my profile. And like that could be traits. Traits PK. And this is basically it. Oh, sorry. And this is basically it. You just define where you will store this data, and the system knows that this data is used for identification. So whenever you send an identification event, it will look for the profiles that have the same PK in other profiles. So it will just merge the profiles. This is like an identification point. The other part is event data compliance. So where the data is collected, somebody may not allow you to store, for example, their email, and for that they say, okay, I don't want this my data to be used for marketing, for example. So in here, for example, I use an update profile, and here I add the rule saying that if there is not a marketing consent, please hash my email. Okay. In event property email, I will send my email. So whenever somebody sends an email but did not give me a consent, that email will be hashed in the profile. So this is a way of like hiding the data. The hash can be used to identify the customer, but cannot be used for sending an email. Okay, data. We've seen data. So this is the data. There are also entities. So for example, some data not related to events or profiles. Actually, they are related, but they are not profiles. Okay, this could be like if you integrate with some other system, you can keep the information in here. And outbound traffic. In the outbound traffic, you define where you send your data and how you send it. To use the outbound traffic, we have to create some resource. Tracardi keeps a track of different resources. You can create different connections to different systems. And here is the list of the resources. There's a lot, and we can add more other resources. For example, right now I will add a resource as an endpoint, and in here you have to define URL, etc. I will call it API. Okay, so I've created one resource, some API. Okay, I can check if I can sign into. Yeah, I can also sign into the market. So there are even more. Okay, even more resources that you can connect to. You can connect to databases, etc. Those resources can be used in sending data, but also in automation. We didn't talk about automation. We just talked about collecting data, and now we are talking about sending it to some external systems. So let's do a test API, and I would like to send it to that API that I've just created. Enable this, and here you just define a trigger saying, okay, what kind of data I would like to send. I would like to send a profile when it's changed, when the data in the profile was changed. So this is it. Or I can send an event that comes from a certain event source, and we can select what kind of event I would like to send. So for example, right now I'm sending from my website a consent update, and if I created this API to be some external system that manages the consents, I can store that information there. But as we know, APIs can take different types of data differently. So Tracardi is very flexible. It can send data any way you want. So for example, my system takes the consent in a consent name. This is the key, and here I would like to put some data from my profile. So here I can type profile, add, and here is the path to the consent. Maybe better I will do it like this. So for example, I would need an ID, and then I will send here an profile ID, and here I will add data, and here would be like consent name, and here I can send, for example, from event property, and we would have to check what event consent update sends the data, for example, consent. So you can create your own payload to the API. So this is configurable. And what is most important, whatever I do in the graphical user interface, there is an API for that. Nothing can be done without an API, and maybe I will just show you. This is the network, how the graphical user interface connects with the backend. So whenever I save it, here we go. This is an API that creates new destination. Okay, so we have new destination, and whenever the event will be sent, this API will be called. Okay, so this is basically the part. This part is about the collection, okay? Collecting data, and you can see that we've collected some events, and also you can see like online sessions. So my event also was recorded as an online session. Okay, and now let's go to automation. Whenever there is an event sent to Tracardi, we would like to do some things. I don't know, maybe if somebody bought something, we would like to send them an SMS with a confirmation that they bought something. Okay, so we can create a workflow confirmation, for example, and this all works real time. So whenever there is a certain event, some workflow can work. Okay, so this is the workflow, and in here we have actions. What actions we can take? A lot of different actions. The most important is start. So this is where where the workflow starts, and we can have whatever SMS, for example, send SMS, okay, via Twilo. Actually, I don't have, I didn't define in resource Twilo resource, so it will not be able to send resource because right here I don't have any resource. I can click here and add Twilo. Okay, I don't have token, but so it actually will not work. But I would like to show you how it does it. So here we go. This is a connection to my Twilo resource. I can use a profile phone if there is a profile phone. Okay, if there isn't, no phone, main phone, for example. This is from what number? Actually, I should put some my number. Okay, some number that I will be sending it the message to the profile. Okay, profile. And there's the message, and you can just type here and just profile. This is a template, profile first name, PAI first name. Okay, so you can construct the SMS message. But also, because big companies don't use, you know, they have like dedicated system for sending SMSs. There's basically simpler way. Just you can just connect an API to the API, the same. Or define here an API, define an endpoint, and send all the data. And this can also be done by some external system. So this time when the event comes, we can connect to the API and send some data, and that API will send an SMS. But how do we define when this workflow works? So you have triggers here, and you define that I would like to use this on the order completed, for example, when it's completed on my website. Okay. And we also can use like consents, so saying you have to be agreed to the marketing consent, so we can run this workflow. Okay. And here how it goes. So whenever there is a order completed, this workflow will be executed. And there's like a lot of plugins, and you write new plugins almost every day for sending data, receiving data. You can also enhance your profile. So for example, you have some external system with the profile data. You can do an API call to that system, then do something like this, copy data, and you can copy that data to the profile, to some profile traits. Okay, set it to the payload that will be returned here, and here you just type where is the payload. It will just copy that data to the traits of profile, and then you can say update profile. Okay, and this will work as well. So you can connect to some of your old CRM, copy the data to the profile, and then update the profile in Tracardi. You can. The most important thing is that you can debug this workflow. This one will throw a lot of exceptions, errors, because I didn't configure it, but we can try it. You can see here it goes. This is not configured. This is the information, and actually you can go click on the information that say that there should be a valid string in the resource, probably, or somewhere else. So this gives me an information how the data is flowing through the workflow. Okay, and now triggers are just the triggers I just mentioned. So what is triggered when, and the last part, actually it's not last, but very interesting one, is when you collect all the data, then you can build audiences. So based on that data, you can create an audience and filter it by even profile properties. So for example, I would like to have somebody that has an email. Okay, an email exists in the profile, and it visited that customer. It has page view, so that when we count all the page views that customer had, I have to just name it page view count. Okay, and that page view count is bigger than 0. Sorry. What it does, find me all the profiles that have an email and have a page views count of page views bigger than 0. Okay. Okay, just name it page view. Here it is. This is my one profile that has the merged one that has this information. It has contact and it has a page view. Okay. So now I can save this. Let me enable this. Save this audience, and an audience is updated automatically. So when I delete my email, I will just drop out of this audience. And with audiences, there is another thing. You can create audience activation. So we have like a group of people now, and it's called PV. And now I would like to have some activation. I would like to send it somewhere. Right now, we have an activation to Kafka topic. What it actually means, it will take all the defined profiles and will send it to the defined. You also need to define the Kafka resource, and you will send it to the defined Kafka topic. Okay. Okay, and you can see here you can give a topic and also add some additional data. This is for the integration purposes. So when you define your audiences, then you would like to do something with that, and your programmers can just take this data and, for example, send it to Google, send it to some CRMs, so send it to HubSpot, whatever place you would like to send it. No, and of course, we are also writing additional activations, and probably we'll have the activations like out of the box, like sending the data and the audience to the Facebook, for example, for advertising, or sending it to Google to remarket the given audience. Okay, and this is basically it. Just like scratching the surface. As I told you, all the data in here can be reached through the topics in Apache Pulsar. This is like Kafka, but some additional features. So it can be reached at Pulsar. You can use it through the API. So basically, a lot of our customers don't use the graphical user interface. They use it for managing Tracardi, but for the customers they just integrated the API. So, and then don't put all the functionalities there. And also there are like extension points where you can add additional features very easily. And this is event sources. You can add new event sources, how you collect data. You can add new outbound traffic sources, so where you send the data. Basically, now there is like API, some queues, and some systems like HubSpot or something like that. But you can add any. You can add in the automation. You can add here the nodes in the workflow, so you can write whatever action you would like to perform. In the audience, you can extend audiences, so where you send the data to, and you can extend resources, what kind of resources you connect to. And this is basically it. In here you have a history of the routing, so how each event is routed. For example, you can see that this is my custom event, and it has this mapping that when it happens, it copies the information. So you have also the information how everything is routed. Okay, and this is just like an overview of the system.